Hello, everybody. This is Steel Rose's podcast. This podcast was created for women by women to elevate women's voices. I hope everyone's having a wonderful week. A little on my mind today, and I think I've been explaining here and there because the episodes were a little bit later in October, that I was very busy and I had to scale back a little bit, which I talk quite a bit about giving myself grace, which is why, I do that kind of thing because I'm not of the mindset anymore that I'm going to force myself or stress myself out. I'm going to just roll with the punches. But now that I've finished another busy couple of weeks, I don't anticipate another set this year. But now that I'm coming down from the busyness, I get that mom guilt area. Now, this is something that happens every time I have a busy couple of weeks. In those few weeks, my kids grow up and change. And this is what it is. Thankfully, I am able to balance somewhat, and it's not intense as much for long periods of time. My mental health is much better now when it's busy, just because I'm working with really wonderful people. But that guilt is still there over not being able to be as fully attentive as I'd like to be with my kids. And so now I'm seeing the repercussions of it. This is one of those areas when you have a professional career as a mother that the guilt is pretty much always there. Now I know why I chose to have a profession. I know why I went down this path. I am intensely aware of the sacrifices. I know there's positives to it too. And I know that I am showing a good example to the kids as well with my work ethic. And I know, and I've been told by other working moms, one day they are going to recognize what I've done and everything that I do. And they're going to acknowledge it. It's going to click. But in the moment, it doesn't feel good. So last night was one of the first nights that I wasn't busy. And there was 2 nights this week so far. So what is today? Thursday, Tuesday and Wednesday evening. I was able to get off early, 6-ish roughly. And both nights I was able to spend time with my kids one-on-one. One night I've read with my daughter. Last night I played games with my son and my other daughter. And it feels good to be able to do that because my whole goal this fall, without them being enrolled in any activities, was for me to be able to just spend time with them and just do things with them that I think are going to be helpful to their brains and, obviously just spending one-on-one time with them. Something that I've been incorporating into my one-on-one time with them is twofold. Beyond the fact that I want to spend time with them, I also want to make sure their brains are getting exercise, right? My kids unfortunately did not pick up the love of reading like I have. So what I've started to do with them at night, and I think this is actually kind of a fun workaround. We have 2 games. We have a counting game and then we have Scrabble, which we call the spelling game. Last night I pulled both out and I was like, who wants to play counting and who wants to play spelling? And for, I want to say it was about an hour and a half, we all sat on the floor and just did these games. And the spelling game in particular, I was really happy about that one because I had introduced Scrabble to them before, but they didn't quite pick it up yet. This time, I didn't try to do any rules with them. I just said, the goal is look at your tiles and be able to spell something. And any word, put it anywhere on the board, Once I did that, it was like the lights kind of went on and everybody was really into it and putting words on the board. Some of the words are very silly. Nevertheless, they came up with it themselves and they spelled it out correctly. I'm not going to complain. So that was a fun thing that I was able to do with them. And I think I'm going to continue doing with them because I left the game upstairs. On the note of mom guilt, I did find a thought starter to share with you. These are all the types of mom guilt that the universe never intended for us to really carry. The guilt, I'm going to read these off to you and then I'll kind of just talk them through as well. So there's the guilt of not enjoying every single moment. I quite often now, and you know how I feel now about being directly in the moment, I am able to sort of pull myself through and obviously for the most part, you enjoy your kids, you enjoy your family, you're going to be in the moment with them. I'm very particular about that. I need to be in that moment. I want to pay attention. I want to take pictures and capture as well, but I also want to be fully present and enjoying with them. We did a Halloween activity last weekend. Their school puts on a haunted house production and it's very, very cool. They do a really wonderful job. It's all volunteers, really wonderful job that they do. So we go every year and I had thought about that. Why don't you record you guys walking through? It's a fun memory. It is a fun memory. I didn't want to record us walking through because I wanted to be in the moment with the kids and enjoying it. So that I didn't record it. I was just in the moment. Now, there's going to be other moments though, and other times when you're frustrated or, you are stressed out about something else, or it is life, and just because we're mothers and just because we're wives doesn't mean that we're not people. And that as people, we're going to have ups and downs. So feeling guilty for not enjoying and being over the moon for every moment, we don't need to feel like that. We're people. We have our ups and downs just like everybody else. The guilt of needing rest and solitude, this is a really big one for me because for a very long time, I felt like I needed to sacrifice every single thing, every single moment. All of me was thrown into my kids, all of them. Like every single part of me, I didn't think of myself at all. I felt too guilty to say like I need help. I think it was guilt. I felt guilty and I felt like a failure saying I need help. I felt like a failure saying I need to rest. I can't do certain things. I can't go to the park. I can't go to the park with you and the kids today because I need to lay down. Why don't you take them? I never did that, ever. Now I do it because I'm much more aware. But I used to feel a tremendous amount of guilt for that. And there really isn't any reason for that. Big one for me here, the guilt of working outside the home. I don't work outside the home. I work from home. But because I work from home, that work bleeds into the evening, early mornings. Whatever I can do to make it happen is essentially what I'm going to do. And I do have to feel guilt about that, but I will carry that load because this is the path that I chose. And I do stand behind my choice, regardless of the ups and downs of it. I know it affects all of us, but I do my best to balance. And I think you guys all do too. Boy, this is a big one. The guilt of losing your patience. How often do I feel horrible after having to snap? And not having to snap, but after snapping on my kids because they're just fooling around. I will say this. I actually do apologize to my kids and acknowledge that I lost my temper and that I'm working on it. And then I'll say like, oh, you guys like pushed me a little bit, but it's, mommy was also stressed out and you didn't know. And then we all talk about it. So they're very well aware of that, which has been beneficial. It has been beneficial because I'm so open and honest with them about that stuff that they pick it up and they don't judge basically. Like, so when it does happen, they'll say to me like, oh, you're having a bad day. Are you stressed about this? Like they're very aware about it, which I think is a positive. I do. I really actually think that's very much a positive. But again, I feel horrible. Just yesterday morning, I didn't lose my temper, but I had to raise my voice at the bus stop and it put my son in a bad mood. And I don't like that. I don't like doing that to him. And then I was upset all morning because of that. So it's just one of those things that's all wrapped up. There is a few more on here, but I think I'm going to save them because these are pretty decent ones. And I could probably touch on these. We can have a part 2 of this. Key takeaway is there's a lot of things that we feel guilty about that we really don't need to. And, I think we do put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be this perfect mother, perfect wife, perfect person. And we don't have to be. We just need to be ourselves. And we just need to do the best thing that we can do for ourselves and for our families. And on that note, I am going to tell you all that I wish you all a wonderful rest of your week. I thank you all for being with me this morning. I am very appreciative of all of you. And I hope to catch you on the next one. Take care.